Want to know what Power of Darkness does? The tooltip isn't great, but this video is much better. Now the first thing you should know is that the spell doesn't actually increase your total winds of magic. The great increase to power reserves is just temporary, which means that really you're spending winds of magic to get more now instead of later. With that out of the way, let's dig into the numbers. Early on, you can generate about 15 winds of magic, but later it's going to look like 10. Not only that, the spell costs 4, which means your net gain is going to be between 11 and 6 winds of magic extra. This might not seem great, but thought of another way, it increases your winds of magic regen by 4.5 times at higher values and up to 8 times at lower values. Overall, this can be a nice boost to your winds of magic if you're running low. Just be aware that you're losing winds of magic on the whole. On its own, getting 8 winds of magic is good, but is it worth it for the damage you have to take? Well, to figure that out, we'll have to look at the stats. Power of Darkness deals 506 damage to an ally for 46 damage a tick. This happens 11 times, and for single entities, it does 25% less damage due to the ticks missing occasionally. This is about how much damage Spirit Leech does, except it kills models a lot less often. And actually, due to how well it actually spreads out the damage, you can actually cast it on bolt throwers without losing a single model. Don't worry about the infantry, they only take damage when they unman the artillery. Alternatively, you can also cast it on your range units and only lose a few models there too. Still though, that's not really an optimal situation, and casting it on your lord is basically a free Spirit Leech to gain 8 winds of magic. So overall, I'd say the spell is okay. It's good in a pinch when you have low winds of magic, but in a longer battle, you don't really need it. The damage it does to your units is hard to work around too, but if you can make it work, it's not terrible. However, there might be a use case that does save it. Malekith generally has pretty low winds of magic regeneration, but his Circlet of Iron decreases the cost by 2 and increases the number of charges. While I still wouldn't recommend taking Power of Darkness all the time, if you expect the battle to end around the 6-minute mark where you wouldn't really be able to spend all your magic, this is a good way to make sure you can. Now if you enjoyed and you want to spend all the extra magic you get from this spell, you should check out this other spell scroll video on Melkoth's Miasma. It may convince you to start using it as Marathi.